Good morning and welcome to Manifestation Mondays, River City Home Buyers. Hope y'all had a wonderful weekend and took a little time to relax, unwind, do some fun things, whatever it is that you like to do. So this past week and also before that, but a lot this past week, I was reading a lot of different posts by colleagues, people in different places in their business, and some that have really scaled and kind of grown their companies and their businesses as far as taking on more team members, more employees, doing heavier volume, higher revenue. Also, looking at other posts of people who have certainly grown their business and their business reputations and the value that they bring, but maybe without the large scale picture, okay? So I was looking at some things that some folks have shared and keeping in mind that most of us share our tidbits and our little kind of like aha moments, experiences, be it good or bad, lessons learned in our business, motivation and positivity and different things that folks can do. And, the idea is that people will take away the pieces of it that pertain to them and maybe be able to implement some little piece from one of these sessions, podcasts, videos, and use it to their advantage. And that's one way that I try to add value in sharing these videos is different philosophies, different life hacks, different things, because in general, I find as people as well as business owners, a lot of times the things that we struggle with on that internal level in moving, growing, building, expanding, scaling, whatever it may be, a lot of the core things are pretty much the same for a lot of us. So habits, habit stacking, habit forming, routines, things that kind of sabotage us or take us off our game, and then also things that we learn that we can implement to put it back. And as somebody who has worked for a large amount of years in staff development, employment coaching, team building, all that kind of stuff, it kind of is like second nature to me to always be looking for those ideas and seeing which ones are practical and which ones can be put into place for people that want to, without having to make major changes all at one time. Because we all know that the extreme change usually doesn't end up being sustainable, but the ones that we can do in smaller chunks are. And so at least for me, that's what I try to put out there, in the hopes that some of you, as you take time to watch these, you get little bits and little things that pertain to your particular situation that you can put into play. And I also noticed that there's a lot of assumption out there in people and in individuals. And I think it's wonderful when people start out. I love the grassroots concept. My business is that way. I love the people that start from ground zero and really build something for themselves and build a company and build a successful business. And that can be done at many different levels. And I think that's important for people to remember, because I was reading some comments made by some folks, not towards me, but just towards each other or in general, and even in some video clips that I saw. And there was a lot of assuming, and some of the comments were things like, why should we take advice from you when you haven't done anything? You haven't made any big moves. And again, this was not a comment on one of mine. I don't think it was anyway. It was just a general comment that was made. And I thought, when I really sit back and think about that, does someone have to have become an 8-figure, 7-8 figure a year business owner? Do they have to have scaled to some magnanimous level in order for them to have something valuable to put out into the universe and out into public? And I think the answer is no. I think that we need to be careful about assuming what each other has or hasn't accomplished. It's very, to sit back and just say, oh, you haven't done anything. Well, maybe they have. Maybe they just did it a different way. Maybe they did or accomplished different things. Maybe some of the things they've done and accomplished, they don't blast out there. And maybe they only put out the chunks that are going to be valuable to their colleagues or their friends or their family members or whoever their target audience is. And so I think that sometimes you have to step back a little bit. Don't get so caught up in your own successful growth, your own successful scaling, and the things that you've been able to do and maybe your company's been able to do, to where now you're looking down at other people if they haven't scaled or grown or put it all out there at the same pace or the same level or in the same way that you have. And even if they haven't, does not mean that something that they're sharing or some piece of motivational advice is not valuable. And it doesn't mean that they don't have anything to bring to the table. We all have something to bring to the table. I have learned every bit as much from my children as they probably have from me. I have learned volumes from my employees over the years and over time and even currently, probably just as much, if not more, than they learn from me. I don't go into any discussion or webinar, podcast, seminar, any of it, with the expectation that what I'm sharing is of higher value because of my master's degree and my background, not only in education, but in business management, business development, personnel development, that kind of thing. I don't ever assume that. I go in trying to learn something new. Even when I've gone in to teach workshops and things like that, I always pull as much out of it that I can take and use as I put into it. And I really think that we have to have an attitude of not assuming, and in every interaction and everything that you even set out, even if you're mentoring, right? You should be also trying to learn something from that mentee that you're mentoring. So just maybe don't get so caught up in your stuff and the things that you're proud of. And I'm not saying don't be proud of yourself and your growth. You should 100% be proud of yourself, your growth, your scaling, all of it. But don't get so proud of it that you lose sight of the fact that there are other people that haven't gotten as far as you yet, may never get as far as you have, or maybe their idea of growth and scaling is different than yours. Doesn't mean that they don't have something valuable to teach you or share with you, or something that you can take a little piece of and put into your toolbox. So I think we need to build each other's toolboxes, and we really need to extract some little shrouds of wisdom and little tools for our own toolbox, maybe from the people we would least expect to learn from or get those little pieces from. So, assumption, it's a dangerous place to go. Everyone has some value to add and something valuable to share. So please try to encourage them to share it and take the pieces of that with you, just as you exchange with them things that you have to offer, that you've learned, that you've seen, that you can share, that can help them. And let's all just try to build some better habits, do some better things, really live out our vision and our mission on a daily basis, not only in scaling, but in interacting as well. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. River City Homebuyers 904 on YouTube. Have a great week.